Hello, my friends. Happy Sunday evening. Wherever you are, I hope that you are doing well, that you've had a wonderful weekend, that you've had a wonderful day in the Lord today. Hopping in here to give you an update on some of our event things and to continue with our study of Nehemiah. So today, obviously, Sunday, we didn't do a whole lot in terms of preparing for the event. Went over some of my notes, worked a little bit more on some of my slides this afternoon, and spent the day celebrating my husband and Father's Day. It is Father's Day here in Mexico as well as the U.S. And congratulations to all of you fathers in the group as well. Interesting fact, Mother's Day is not always the same day as in the U.S. In Mexico, Mother's Day is always May 10th, regardless of what day it falls on. So they do not match the U.S. in keeping that Sunday, Mother's Day, the same. But Father's Day, they do. So today is Father's Day here as well as in the States. So anyway, that's our update. We are my husband's continuing to play with the tech and trying to get all of our things hooked together, and really getting excited about this. We've got a team member coming in from Mexico City Monday or Tuesday to help us with this, and really getting excited to see it all come together. So there's still time to invite friends. If you've got someone else who needs a ticket, have them go over to handprintlegacylive.com to grab their ticket to the event. Ticket deadline is Tuesday night because check-in starts on Wednesday and the event starts Thursday morning. So Nehemiah, day number 7. And today we are talking about, I was reading Nehemiah again this morning. I've been reading through it often lately in preparation for this event. And the thing that stood out to me this morning was the fact that Nehemiah was not qualified. We've talked about that here before. But many of the people working with him on the walls were not qualified either. And Nehemiah chapters 2 and chapter 3 and some even into chapter 4 actually goes through and lists the different people and their skill set that were working on these walls. And many of them were not like stonemasons. They weren't people who had trained to do this kind of work. And yet this was the work at hand. There was goldsmiths, and there was perfumers, and there was leaders, and there was mayors of the people. And it names all those people, and it called out the people who were not willing to work. It actually named some of the rulers who were not willing to come to Jerusalem and give hand to the work. And then the other thing that stood out to me was that in several instances, it talks about a certain person, and it names him and his family members. And it says that he worked on the portion of the wall that was behind his house. And it wasn't just one instance, it was several of these. So several of these places where the walls were lying in ruins and were broken down were behind the houses of some of these people. And remember, these walls had been broken down. The city had been attacked 150 years earlier. So these families had lived on their family properties in fear for over 150 years with these walls right behind their house, all broken down, and scared and having to always be on their guard and always living in anxiety and not doing anything about it until Nehemiah came to town. The cupbearer of the king came to town and said, we need to build these walls. We need to do something about this. And it just struck me how that there are so many people in our lives and people that our businesses will touch who are waiting for you, to be the motivation to get out there and say, you can do this. You don't need special permission to do this job that's in your hands to do. It's right here on your property. It's within your power. Do it. They did the work on their own property, on their own portion of the wall, right behind their houses. But they hadn't done anything on it in 150 years until Nehemiah showed up and said, you can do this. Sometimes all your people need is somebody to cheer them on and say, I believe in you. You can do this. And I know that was true with us when we started our business. I've been going back through some of the dates and some of the big turning points or pivot points in our journey as I'm getting ready for this event. And one of the big ones was a year or two into our business. Back in 2014, I went to an event out in San Diego where Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income was speaking. It was one of his first ever times to speak in public. And it was one of the first few ever business events that I attended, and I heard him speak. And after the event, I went up to him and I shared with him our 5-year plan to be making a full-time income from this little business that we'd started in Mexico. And I was desperate. At that point, no one in our lives believed in us, not our family, not our supporters, not anybody in ministry, not any friends, local or long distance. Nobody believed in what we were doing and were encouraging us. And I went to Pat after he spoke, and I shared with him our plan in like a 5-minute synopsis, right? And I was like, do you think we can do this? Can we be making a full-time income in 5 years? And he said no. And my face fell and I started tearing up and started to turn away. And he leaned in and he said, Katie, I think you could do this in 2 years. 2 years. He took our 5-year plan to a 2-year plan because he believed in us. So I came home and I told my husband, and we went back to the drawing board and rewrote the business plan and figured out what we could do to possibly make this happen in 2 years because Pat Flynn believed we could. We finally had one person who believed in us. And do you know, 2 years, almost to the very day of that conversation, we had our first full-time income month with our business. The power of somebody believing in you. Those walls had lain in ruins for 150 years, and all it took was a cupbearer who'd spent his life in the cushy rooms of the kitchen by the king to come in and say, I believe you can do this. This job needs to be done, and I'm here to help you and to tell you that you can do this. That's what it took to motivate them. And your people need you to champion them, to be the one who can believe in them too. They need you to be there saying, you can do this. Yes, it's been in ruins. Yes, it's been a mess for years. Yes, you've not been able to complete it and be successful. You can do it. I believe in you. And I believe that's a big reason why God has raised us up in our business at Handprint Legacy, why we're hosting this event for you this coming week, because you need someone to tell you, I believe in you. Someone in the group today was saying, I hope we can be making a full-time income. I hope I can leave my job in 2 years. And I don't know all the details, but my first thought was that Pat Flynn story. And my first thought was, what if you could do it in 1 year? We serve the God of the impossible. And all it took was one person to stand up and say, you can do this, to motivate all of those people to do what had been in their hands to do and in their power to do for ages. God is working, and he is working in you, and he is working in your business, and he is working in those people that he is bringing to you through your business. And you need to stand up and recognize that you can do this because God says you can. And your people can do it because God says they can. And he's put you there to cheer them on and to be their cheerleader. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of those attacks. Don't be afraid of what might happen. Focus on the truth. The truth is God called you to do this. The truth is God says, I will do this through you. You need those champions. You need those cheerleaders. You need to surround yourself with the people who will speak life into you and say, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And your people need it too. I'm so excited that we get to be those people for you this weekend. I hope that encourages your heart. I hope you'll look around for who you can speak life into, even as we go into Monday tomorrow. And we look forward to being back here tomorrow with another episode. And then Tuesday, we're making final preparations. Wednesday is check-in day. So you'll get an email on Wednesday to go through the check-in process with one of our team members. Don't miss that. You have to do that before you can get into the event on Thursday. But it's all leading up to Handprint Legacy Live, 3 days of an amazing, fun, fiesta business training that's all based on God's truth. And I can't wait to dive in with you. Big hugs tonight, guys. God bless you. Bye-bye.